What's up, guys? This is Bobby Douglas, and welcome to the finale of my Big Board series, where I'll be taking a look at the top 15 players in the 2020 NBA Draft. Let's get right into it. Coming in at 15 for me is DENI AVDIJA. I totally buy AVDIJA's playmaking ability. He's got great size at 6'9", 220, and he moves with the fluidity and pace of a guard. He sees the floor very well and brings professional experience into the NBA as well, coming from Maccabi Tel Aviv. While many see DENI as a top 5 pick, I don't really think he has that level of upside. I think his shooting is a real concern, as he only hit 55.6% of his free throws, and I just think he's more likely to be a low-level starter than he is to be an engine of your offense. Again, this isn't calling DENI a bust or a bad player, it's just that I don't think he's worth being taken so high. At 14, I have Villanova wing SADDIQ Bey. I like Bey as a guy who can come in immediately and contribute for a playoff team. He's a strong 6'8", 216 who also shot 45% from 3, and he averaged 16 points a game last season. Bey's also one of the more encouraging defenders in the class, as he can switch all around the floor and provide resistance with his strength. Again, this is a guy who should be highly coveted by teams who need 3-and-D prospects. Bey's hips are a little stiff, and I worry about his off-the-dribble game. He's most likely going to be a standstill three-point shooter who can offer some straight-line driving ability, but again, he won't be any offensive anchor. At 13, I have James Wiseman. Listen, he's going to go top 3 in this draft, but I really just don't think his position is worth drafting that high. Wiseman is obviously a freak athlete at 7'1", 235, and he has enough raw ability to be a solid NBA player alone. I really like his defensive potential, as I think he's quick enough given his length to basically guard anywhere and anyone on the floor. He obviously will be an impact rim protector as well. I do worry about his offense, however. He doesn't read the floor well, and he tends to take questionable shots. He won't be able to bulldoze his way to the basket in the NBA, and while he's developing a jumper, I'm not entirely confident it will ever be serviceable. Coming in at 12, I have North Carolina guard Cole Anthony. I know he's been sliding on a lot of big boards and mocks, but I still buy the upside this guy showed in high school and at times at North Carolina, at least in this draft. Cole Anthony has potential to be one of the more dynamic scoring guards in this class, and while I think he's an overrated athlete, there is something to be said for his all-level scoring ability. I understand his percentages weren't great, but I don't think Cole could have had a worse roster around him in terms of fit at Chapel Hill. The former top 5 recruit averaged 19, 6, and 4 while having no space to operate, and for me, I'll take those numbers and run with them here at 12. At 11, I'll take Kira Lewis Jr. from Alabama. Lewis is the fastest end-to-end player in the class, and I really buy his overall upside as an all-around guard. He averaged 18.5 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds this season on 46% shooting and 36% from 3, while also leading an Alabama offense that played at one of the fastest paces in the nation. He still has ways to go in terms of his frame, but I still think he could put on weight without losing any of his speed. Lewis showed he can make an impact defensively, as you'll often see him busting up DHOs and using his quick hands to poke the ball away. To me, Lewis represents a player who has only scratched the surface as to how good he can be, and I could see him becoming an all-star if things click the right way. At 10, I have Vanderbilt wing Aaron Nesmith. Nesmith is my best shooter in the class, as the sophomore nailed 52% of his threes on 8 attempts a game. Yeah, that's right, 52. His season got cut short due to a right foot injury, but I really buy his shooting and defense, as a 6'6", 213 Nesmith can in theory defend multiple positions given his athleticism and foot speed. While he has shown limited ability as a playmaker and a driver, I think his upside with the three-point shooting is enough to put him in the top 10, because with some seasoning, he can become so much more than just a shooter. Coming in at 9, I have Maryland big man Jalen Smith. I'm not sure why more people aren't this high on him, honestly. The 6'10", 225-pound Smith does everything you'd want from a modern NBA big. He shoots the three well, as he hit 37% from the outside this past season. He rebounds, as he got 10.5 a game, and he also provides great rim protection with his solid vertical athleticism, as he swatted 2.4 shots per game. If a big guy can do all 3 of those things well, I think he's worth a top 10 pick. Smith's offensive skill at his size is extremely encouraging. He is pretty skinny, so I worry about his viability as an NBA 5, but with his shooting, I think you can put him at the 4 and live with it. He also needs to improve his court vision and handle, as that will unlock even more possibilities for Smith in the NBA. At 8, I have ONYEKA OKONGWU. I like the big man from USC because he will provide really solid defense at all levels. He's mobile enough to hang on the perimeter, and he has a good enough second jump to be an impactful rim protector as well. He is also a total glass eater, as he carves out space well and got close to 9 a game in an often crowded USC paint. On offense, I think his role will be pretty simple as a guy who will rim run with high efficiency and be a very intelligent short roll passer. OKONGWU's potential in those 4-on-3 situations is really striking. I worry about his turnovers, and it would be nice to see him develop an outside shot, but he is skilled and athletic enough to be a really proficient modern NBA center. At 7, I have the reigning College Player of the Year, Obi Toppin. Toppin's offensive game is ready-made for the NBA. He has great vertical athleticism as he will be an immediate lob threat for any guard he plays with, and he also has shown great three-point shooting ability as he nailed 39% from 3 this past season. Overall, he has really nice offensive touch. Toppin poured in 20 points a game last year, and he also displayed translatable proficiency as a post and short roll passer. The concerns for Toppin come on the defensive end. He's a tweener as he isn't laterally quick enough to guard on the perimeter, and he isn't strong enough to hang with the big guys down low. This makes him a liability on that end, but I really think his modern offensive attack will carry him far in the NBA. Coming in at 6, I have Florida State wing Devin VASSELL. I like VASSELL as one of the best overall defenders in the class. On the ball, he uses his length to disrupt ball handlers and provide steady resistance. And off the ball, his intelligence comes into play as he will always be correctly positioned. I like his offensive package as well, as a sophomore averaged 12.7 points a game while knocking down 41.5% of his threes. I actually think he has higher upside in terms of his off-the-dribble game, which many scouts think is a weakness of his. He's improved a lot in that area from his freshman to sophomore season, so I have faith that his growth trajectory will continue. My main concern with him is if that shooting video is legit. Sources are saying that he was just joking around, but how can I really be sure? Without a consistent shot, VASSELL's value decreases significantly. Some question his ceiling, but I think 6 is fair for him in this class. At 5, I have Iowa State guard TYRESE Haliburton. I don't think anyone has said a negative word about Haliburton off the court. He's been consistently brought up as one of the best interviewees in the class, and his basketball IQ is apparent when listening to him talk and watching him play. He is a fantastic passer, as he can make every read imaginable going both ways, and he also showed an ability as a scoring option, as he averaged 15.2 points a game on 50% shooting and 42% from 3. Defensively, his length allows him to disrupt ball handlers, and combined with his awareness, it makes him a very solid overall defender. I worry about his shot form, as it's more of a set shot than a fluid release, and that may hinder his scoring aptitude. I also have some questions about his handle and separation ability, but at 5, I'm banking on the IQ, the efficiency, and the intangibles. Coming in at 4 is KILLIAN Hayes. I like Hayes because of his NBA-ready scoring package. He's really good at getting separation despite not being a great athlete, and he plays with a savvy that helps him make terrific reads in the passing game. I worry about him because he's pretty one-handed, and by that I mean you are more likely to see hell freeze over than to see him use his right hand. He can't pass or finish going to his right, which is a major concern. Even with that though, I think he could be a solid NBA player due to his scoring readiness, frame, and defensive aptitude. I also think he'll end up being functional with his right hand, so if he clicks, I think you're looking at a really solid guard prospect with all-star chances. His scoring and passing is that advanced. He just needs to start using that damn right hand. At 3, I have Auburn's Isaac Okoro. Okoro has shown the ability to drive with relentlessness, finish at the rim well, make solid reads as a passer, and he's also one of the best defensive wing prospects in the draft. His 6'6", 225-pound frame allows him to be a top-tier athlete while also offering enough skill to be viable in the NBA. He's got a very well-rounded game. He literally does everything well. Well, except for shooting the ball. Okoro's mechanics are shaky on his jump shot, and he only hit 28% of his threes on the season. And that scares many evaluators off to the point where I wouldn't be shocked to see him fall outside the top 10. To me though, I think Okoro is guaranteed to be a solid NBA player and fringe all-star, even if his shot doesn't improve. I really buy his hustle-oriented and high IQ game, and if you add in average three-point shooting, I think you'd be looking at the best player in the class. At number 2, I have Anthony Edwards. The Georgia guard has an extremely enticing frame at 6'5", 225 pounds, and I don't think there's anything on the floor that Edwards can't do. He has a good handle, he can score in a variety of ways, he has the tools to be a great defender, and he's shown flashes of vision in the passing game. It's all a matter of whether Edwards will get to the level he's capable of reaching. He wasn't efficient at Georgia, and he didn't play any defense at all. There are concerns about his work ethic and just his overall mindset when it comes to basketball. He did average 19 points and 5 rebounds a game last year, but he also settled for a lot of long twos and turned it over a fair amount. He has the gifts. It's just a matter of if or when he can figure out how to properly utilize them. At 2, I bank on him figuring it out as his natural talent and athleticism is too good for him to be a total lost cause. And finally, Coming in as my number 1 player in the 2020 NBA draft, I have LaMelo Ball. Ball's passing ability is extremely special. I don't think I've ever seen someone who is so naturally gifted as a passer of the basketball. He'll make pinpoint passes before most players can even make the read. As a 6'7" point guard, Ball has enviable size and skill that should bode extremely well for him in the NBA. His shooting is a concern, but I think he's creative enough as a player to almost transcend traditional methods of scoring. I think his float game will come along nicely, and I actually think his outside shot will get better too, as he already has a fluid off-the-dribble game. His size also helps him grab rebounds, as he is the best at his position in that area. Defensively, Ball is disinterested at best. I hope he gets some real coaching because I think he has the instincts to be a decent defender, but admittedly he hasn't inspired on that end. I also worry about his inefficiency, but I think that improves. His decision making is also a worry, but again, I'd rather try to rein someone like Ball in than to try and instill these gifts in other players. To me, while Ball definitely has his concerns, he is the clear number 1 player in this class due to his passing, size, and overall transcendent creativity. So that wraps up the 2020 NBA Draft Big Board Series. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss another video. If you have any disagreements, criticisms, or anything else, leave a comment below and I'll always respond. Thanks so much to everyone who tuned in today, and go out and enjoy draft day. I'll see you all soon.